Good morning. It is wonderful to have you with us today. We're going to embrace one of those spiritual practices that is like that slingshot for spiritual growth. It just helps us step into a whole new level and makes our hearts sing. As we explore this part of our growth, as you feel touched by the music, I invite you to appreciate the magnificent spiritual being that you are. Thank you for joining us.
In this moment, in this place, in the stillness of our open hearts, we have come to share the presence of the God within and to hold a sacred space. In this moment, at this time, where we feel the oneness of all, we have come here to build a sanctuary of love. In this moment, in this place, in this moment, in this place. Good morning. Welcome to our service. Please remain seated and join Carrie and me in singing, "How Could Anyone Ever Tell You That You Are Anything Less Than Beautiful?" And the first time, I want to invite you to sing it for yourself, as if you are looking in a mirror. How could anyone ever tell you you are anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you are less than all? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. And now look at someone and sing it. How could anyone ever tell you you are anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you are less than all? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. Oh, yes. My name is Sheila Gautreaux. I'm one of your ministers here, and I invite you to join me in greeting one of our very favorite artists, Carrie Hillary. And I want to remind you that Carrie has CDs out on the patio, so pay a visit to her table, and you can take a small piece of that beautiful voice home with you for your listening pleasure. Would you also join me in greeting our friends online, looking at the cameras, waving, saying, "Hey." We're delighted to have you with us. Your presence always adds richly to our service. Come back again. If you are new to Unity, we welcome you to this positive path for spiritual living. Yes, that's who we are at Unity. And our teachings, our principles, and our beliefs support all of us in having the life of joy and peace and love and prosperity and wholeness that we each and all deserve so fully as beloved sons and daughters of God. We recognize that there is only one presence and one power in our universe. However, we celebrate and acknowledge that there are many, many paths to that one presence. We are also founded on the power of affirmative prayer. This entire Unity movement was developed as a result of Myrtle Fillmore's use of affirmative prayer in healing her body of illness. We say yes to the good of God in the midst of all of the challenges we face. And so that we might have an experience of that right now, would you join me in our opening statement? Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Let's take that in. Oh, breathe it in through the heart. Bring it down into the cells, those 150 trillion cells of the body. And again, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Let's take that in even more deeply. And then allowing it to extend from our very being, touching everyone in the sanctuary. And once more, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Let us hold that, hold it deeply. Allow it to become the truth for us, that it may extend outward into our world and become the truth for every living being, touching every heart that beats. And we are so grateful for this truth. And so it is. Amen. We invite you to join us, Carrie and I, in singing, I Am So Blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. Touch your heart and sing it. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. We, and touch somebody's hand. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful. We are so blessed. One more time. We are so blessed. Lift your voices. We are so blessed. We are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed. We are so blessed.
Thank you. Well, that's the truth. We are so blessed to just feel that magnificent blessing, that goodness, the beauty, the blessing that fills us and surrounds us. And as we enter into our time of prayer and meditation together, breathe that feeling of gratitude. Just let it move in and out through our hearts as we're in that place of gratefulness to this divine presence, this love everywhere that's blessing our lives. And as we move within, let the words of the music be part of that call to the very center of our hearts.
Peace be with you. Peace be with you. Shalom. Peace. Salam. Peace be with you. Peace be with you. Shalom. Peace. Salam.
We are one with that peace. For as we receive this awareness of being blessed, of this love that cares for us, we're able to enter into that exquisite peace. For we can take and place all cares and concerns in the hands, in the care, in the blessing of this divine presence. Mother, Father, God, awaken us. Awaken us to the depth and beauty of this blessing that you are in us. Guide us into this peace, this deep, powerful, beautiful peace of our beings. As we breathe the awareness of our gratitude for this sacred moment in which we are filled with blessing. As this peace touches and lifts our hearts. So we are open to know and experience the depth of your love for us. Not a love that is separate from on high, but a love that is here within our hearts. A love that flows in and through us. A love that flows through our hands as we touch another. A love that to us comes as we let another's prayers bless us. A love that fills us as we simply open. Open at depth. Open with peace. In this sacred moment, we gratefully acknowledge that we are completely loved. You are loved without a limit, without a condition, just the way you are. I am loved. I am loved. I am loved. I am love. I am love. I am love. I am. In that place of stillness, rest. I am loved. I am. Beloved presence. I am so grateful to feel this love, to be filled with it, to breathe it and speak it and laugh it. To find it warming my heart and challenging my being. I'm so grateful to give this love, to let it flow from my heart to another. And with deep gratitude for how this love blesses and fills me, I choose to share it with another. I choose to let it flow as blessing and healing and strength, to let it flow forth from my heart. Together we breathe out and radiate this beautiful love. We send it first into our own bodies for healing, wholeness, wellness, vitality. We send it to mind and heart for wisdom, understanding, clarity, and guidance. We radiate this love out beyond ourselves to each one who is dear to us. We bless each one, holding them in this divine love, knowing the beautiful, magnificent spiritual being each is, and letting this love bless, awaken, heal, guide, prosper, bring peace. This love flows through my heart. We send this love to everyone a part of the spiritual community. Healing, bringing forth the beauty and magnificence of each one, blessing everyone in their world. We embrace every prayer request brought here and know with each you are enfolded in divine love and lifted to that which is the highest. And this love flows through our hearts, across the communities in which we live, across our nation and the nations and peoples of the world. This love flows through our hearts to all who join us in prayer, whether in mosque or synagogue, temple or church, whether gathered at home or on the hillsides. For in seeking to know you, we are all one. So, beloved presence, we radiate this love to Mother Earth, to bless and bring balance to her systems, to bring rain where it is dry, calm where there is storm, to bring blessing to her creatures. And we send this love through our hearts. We send it about the earth so that it might touch the heart of every single person in the earth. For beloved presence, you are that love in every heart. And in this love we are one. Divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. Please join me. Divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. Again, divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. And once again, divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world.
Oh, peace, so long.
It is so, here, now. Amen.
I am like a ship far away from home, sailing through the icy winds. I am tossed, I'm thrown, 'cause it's all good. It's all God. Yes, indeed. It's all God. And it's all good. The road may twist and turn, and if I lose my way, I know each lesson that I learn will guide me on my way. The answers I seek live inside. I hear that small voice say, it's all good, 'cause it's all God. It's all God, and it's all good. Sing that with me. It's all good. It's all good, 'cause it's all God. It's all God, and it's all God, and it's all good. I am reaching up, abandoning old schemes. Though this journey may be rough, there's more here than it seems. Each step brings me closer, knowing I can have my dreams. 'Cause it's all good. It's all God. It's all God. And it's all God. 'Cause it's all good. Let's do that again. It's all good. It's all good. 'Cause it's all God. And it's all God. So it's all good.
remain standing, and let's rock with Carrie on I Let the Love Wash Over Me. Those are all the words, okay?
I let the love wash over me. 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 I let the love, I let the love wash over me. I let the love wash over me. I let the truth, I let the truth wash over me. 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 I let the truth, I let the truth wash over me. I let the truth wash over me. I let the grace, I let the grace wash over me. 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 I let the grace, I let the grace wash over me. I let the grace wash over me. I let the joy, I let the joy wash over me. 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 I let the joy, I let the joy wash over me. I let the joy wash over me. I let the love, I let the love wash over me. 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 I let the love wash over me.
Yes! You may be seated.
Gonna open up my heart to the world around me. Share a smile with everyone I see. This is what I believe. What we give, we will receive. Gonna open up my heart. Gonna reach right out when somebody needs me. Listen to what their heart needs to share. Gonna try to understand to the very best I can. Gonna open up my heart. I'm gonna open up my heart. Gonna try to help someone who is hurting. I'll heal a heart by showing that I care. I will stay right by their side through the darkest hurtful times. Gonna open up my heart. Sing that with me. Gonna open up my heart. I can see a world full of abundance. Perfection shines in everything I see. It's time to believe in our prosperity. It's time to open up our hearts. Sing that with me. Time to open up our hearts. Gonna share a little love with the world around me. I'll do my best to lift somebody up. Share the love I feel inside, something deep I just can't hide. It's time to open up my heart. Sing that with me. Time to open up my heart. Share the love we feel inside, something deep we just can't hide. It's time to open up our hearts. Let's sing that again. Open up our hearts. Open up our hearts. One more time. Open up our hearts.
Just need to share with you, I've had a fabulous week this week. I got to go, was that wonderful? I got to go spend 3 days in complete silence. Now, some of you would really look forward to that, and others of you would be bored to tears. I understand that, but it was wonderful. It was wonderful for me, and then coming back and having our event yesterday, that healing the pain of prejudice and opening and looking at what has taken place and how, and being willing to lift ourselves to heal and release so much of that. A wonderful, wonderful experience. But if you remember last week, I promised you we'd get to this week. Okay. Now, I have something I wanted to share with you this week, but I couldn't do it because last week I had to share with you the thing we need to remember in order to do this one. Okay? And basically, it's all good, it's all God. You got it right. It's that oneness, that the fact that we are living within this experience of the divine that is pure, absolute goodness. So we are able to step and share and open to the experience of life. And for many of us, one of the things that we share here is the commitment to the experience of spiritual growth. That has meaning to us. Otherwise, why in the world would you come to Unity on Sunday? You could go golf. You know, it's like, yeah, but that has such meaning to us that we reach out and support each other and that happen, and we consciously seek it. And one of the understandings that has guided my life has been how to expand that growth, how to step into greater spiritual awareness, greater states of consciousness as I have journeyed. And because that's been so meaningful to me, I wanted to share it with you. And I also want to say, it is not that prayer where you say, okay, God, I'm ready to grow. We know not to use that one. Okay. We're talking about a gentle journey here, something that, okay, very, very important on the spiritual growth thing. What lets this happen is practicing a spiritual principle. Now, the principle is giving. Now, we use much of the giving teaching as a way of attuning ourselves into that material or financial experience of abundance. And we've applied the teaching there in our lives because we're aware of that the nature of the divine is to give. So when we give, we enter into that flow that attunes us to that divine nature, so abundance flows into our lives. And that's one application of that principle. But that principle also applies in terms of spiritual growth and spiritual awareness. I had it demonstrated for me in my life. I wasn't aware of it at the time, but I was watching this happen. My parents were very committed to their own spiritual growth. And for them, their spiritual awakening came through the experience of the Edgar Cayce readings. Now, Cayce was probably America's best-known psychic, over 12,000 readings recorded, researched. So there was a whole body of information to study. And even though Cayce himself was a traditional Christian, what came through his readings was really universal and talked about many spiritual concepts from different disciplines, and in explaining the spiritual laws through which we create our lives. Now, what I noticed is the more they got excited about that, the more people showed up at our house. Okay, so there'd be a group over here doing an Edgar Cayce study group in one room, and there'd be another and another, and there'd be a couple getting together over there, and that just kind of happened all around me. Now, being a teenager, I was superior to such things. And I permitted them their kind of adult foibles, and, I was interested, but I had to be careful not to be too interested. But what I realized now as I watched what unfolded, as they shared what was valuable to them, as they shared what had meaning, they grew. They understood what was there at a deeper level. They began to apply it into ways that impacted their lives and thus impacted mine. So I had this experience of giving, of sharing, not giving away in the sense that I don't have, but in the sense of sharing what was valuable, what was meaningful with others. And I saw that as they gave that away to others, they grew. Which was good because at the time I felt they needed some. When I hit that point in life where I realized I actually had to take some responsibility for it. It's the point at which a child is born in your life, and life is never the same from that point on. So I had to find out how to do my own growth. And so I began with the experience of meditation. And I had discovered that it works best if you share it, if you give it away. So my house became where the meditation group gathered, and sometimes there were several of those. And the more that I shared that, the more I found I grew to understand it. The more it began to have meaning for me. I went through some life transitions and found myself in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I was an attorney at that time, and it was about that time in my life that I discovered unity. And unity had particular meaning for me. I looked at denominations and religions somewhat, and basically I didn't find much room for me in them. You had to think their way, and that didn't work for me. I wanted to discover more, and I had kind of this rich stimulation out of what I had experienced in the Casey work. So when I found this place where it was all right to be appreciative and aware of all these different paths of growth, that it really was about the spiritual growth of each being. That was exciting, and that unity had this metaphysical understanding. So I could look at the scriptures of the Bible or other traditions and discover within that a much deeper, richer meaning. That was exciting for me. And there was a while before I could give it away. And that was because I needed to heal. I carried pain from what I had experienced in life. And I wasn't ready to take this which I needed and give it away. And that's important. What I found was that as I let these beautiful truths help me find my way of attunement, that this spiritual presence and power that we're talking about began to heal what was taking place within me. I began to find that strength that came from being whole instead of hurt. And it was a while until that could fill me enough that it could overflow. Then when it began to overflow, I was ready to give it away. And that was exciting, to share it with family, with friends, this path of spiritual understanding that was supporting me in growing and understanding what was taking place around me. It's something I'm aware of that often happens here within our community. When someone, and often people are drawn here because they're at a point of pain, at a point of transition, of trying to find clarity and attunement, because that's not what they're experiencing, and their heart is saying, come, let me help you. But that often, that first inflow of spiritual energy has to go to heal us, to strengthen us. And it's really not about sharing at that point. It's about being willing to receive and let that fill. And then what happens? It begins to overflow. And that's when we can share. That's when suddenly you're giving, you're helping another. I know even as I speak this, I'm in the presence of some of the most inspiring givers I have ever met in my life. Just generosity that flows through their time, through their talents that they share with friends and others, and that financial flow that empowers things, and the talents that come together, and that sharing together what's exciting and supporting each other at. And that becomes the instrument of our growth. Now, sometimes we do that through membership, through saying, well, I'm going to be a part of this, because it's a way that not only do I make a commitment to myself, but I make a commitment to give, to support a community. It's something that happens through saying, okay, I really want to see that this activity or these people, this happens, that there's a growth come, and we participate and we share with others and we bring friends and we let things blossom as it flows through us. Every time we give that spiritual support, that spiritual inspiration, that open door to another, we open ourselves to receive greater growth. It's a spiritual truth. It has to happen. And it's a very powerful and beautiful thing, but we don't often think of it as the instrument of our growth. And yet, as we accept that, how much easier it is to be that channel through which it flows. Now, in my own journey, I had to give more because I was being filled more. And so I was looking at how to do that, and I looked at law book, spiritual book. Law books are boring, at least to me, I can tell you. That was so exciting. Oh, wow. It was about how we create our lives, what we're here for. That just meant everything to me. So I had to make a change so I could give more. Now, I have to tell you, I do not have an evangelical bone in my body. Okay. There is no one in this world that needs me for their life to be okay. I know God is perfectly in charge of their life, and I am so grateful for that. But I am so grateful to the magnificent beings who have shared with me, who have opened the door to discovering something that enriched my life, that enhanced the awareness that I had, that helped me to look at something in a whole new way. Oh, I am so grateful for those. And because I'd received, I had to give. And so what I understood was, the more I gave, the more I grew. Actually, remember the experience of having a sabbatical year where I got to hang out and not give anything. I had to get back to work. It was lousy for my spiritual growth. Because that beautiful flow through us is just something, and let me say that this principle is a principle. It works every place. I think of Carrie and Sheila and David over there, and the music that flows through these people. They're giving, but if you ever see this group of musicians that hang around, they're always sharing. They're always, if you've seen this, you can do it. Let's go do this. Because the more they give, the more they receive. And it is the same for our spiritual journey and our spiritual experience. I remember when I needed, I'd grown to where I realized I had hit limits. That there were things that I knew were greater than what I was experiencing. And in response to the prayer, I ended up at HeartMath. And here were people that could show me how to journey into the depth of my heart. But what I understand was, and you got to understand, I'm a little greedy. Okay, when I find something good, I really want it. So what I ended up doing was realizing I have to give this away. So I started, and I was the first clergy person to come across HeartMath. And so, I ended up getting into it at depth where I could give it depth. And now there are thousands of ministers, of churches that know about and are able to practice that skill within their heart. And as I've given, I have grown. When I mentioned the 3 days. It was an experience of the exquisite presence within my heart. And it was silence because you don't need to explain that. Just be there. And there is that thing of giving. And I do want to cautious this. One of the great appreciations of spiritual growth is that we also get to understand, and we do this intuitively, and it's part of the spiritual nature, who to share it with. There are people in your life that you want to share this fabulous new wine you've discovered with. They aren't necessarily the same people you want to share about the spiritual discovery you've just had. Now, except for those you find here. There is that sense within us, because what happens as this overflows, as this spiritual presence and power overflows, and we fill, is that from that overflowing energy, we find that it draws to us people who are quickened by that energy. They're called by it, and it's so natural to share with them. And there are people in your lives you know never to mention a word to. They are wonderful spiritual beings, and they do not need information about your spiritual growth. That's not where we share together. That's okay. We're all different. So Jesus' teaching, and I love going back to this because it's different to hear an instruction on how to do something than it is to hear a truth. This is a truth. Give and it will be given to you. That is a truth of being. It is the very nature of the soul, the very nature of the divine. He goes on then he goes on and explains. A good measure pressed down, shaken together, and running over will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Now the last line is wrong. It's not true. You always receive more than what you gave. That is the truth. And so when I look at it, I don't understand it as a quantity, the measure. I believe what is really there, if we went back into the understanding that was behind that, back behind translations of translations, we'd come to that it's about the attitude. The attitude you use is the attitude with which it will return to you. For that is the creative energy that sets up the exchange. Now, because I just love going to the other side of the world, from Lao Tzu, Tao Te Ching. When the ancient master said, if you want to be given everything, give everything up, they weren't using empty phrases. Only in being lived by the Tao can you be truly yourself. Man, this is to me a fascinating teaching. It's at the very core of giving. Now, so he says, not saying do this, saying this is a meaningful instruction. If you want to be given everything, give everything up. So then he goes on and explains why that's meaningful. Only in being lived by the Tao can you be truly yourself. So he's not saying, I don't believe give everything up and, it's like if I'm, in order to spiritually grow, I'm going to quit spiritually growing. No, that doesn't make sense. What he's saying is, when we give, when we share beyond ourselves, okay, when we give up, it's mine, and go to that flow, then we open to everything. We open to that greater flow returning. Only in being lived by the Tao. Now, how do you do that? How do you be lived by this divine presence? Well, what happens? This divine presence expresses within us as the desires of our hearts, those real values within us. So as we are lived by that, as we acknowledge and put our energy into those things that are really of value to us, then his statement is, you can be truly yourself. That's where spiritual growth takes us. Into the awareness of who we really are. There's this, in this principle, it's always helpful to me to remember that every time we give, we're giving to ourselves. A woman by the name of Sherry Maddox. Sherry went with a friend to Reno. The friend was in business and was there. It was a business trip, and so Sherry was just accompanying her. She went and was about the business, and Sherry had this free evening. She was looking at the shops and walking down the street, and it's sunset. And there is this gorgeous sunset. And she's just in awe. This exquisite, beautiful thing is taking place before her. And it just fills her. She's got to share it with somebody. So she looks around. Everybody's walking around, kind of watching their feet and doing that you don't talk to me thing. And she wants to share this. It's just so magnificent. So what she does is she runs into a store that's there, and there's a lady selling something. And she says to the lady, come with me. Come out just for a moment. Just stand on the sidewalk. And, it'll just take a second. So the lady says, okay, and goes with her, and they step outside the door. They're standing there on the sidewalk looking at this magnificent sunset that just takes your breath away. And Sherry says, God is in his heaven and all is right with the world. And the two just stand there for that moment. And then she turns and thanks the lady that's come out with her. And the lady goes back into the shop, and she goes on her way, having had this beautiful moment where she got to share for a moment. Something that filled her, that was of value, that was just overflowing from her being. 4 years later, Sherry is in the experience of having just gone through a divorce, very difficult experience for her, emotionally difficult, impacting her in ways that was difficult for her self-perception, very painful financially. So she was finding herself in minimal circumstances. Probably somewhat depressed. And she was in laundromat, putting clothes in the washer and dryer. And while she was waiting, there was a magazine there. It turns out it was a Unity magazine. She opens the magazine and begins to read. And she identifies with this article because the woman is in this, talking about being in the same kind of situation that Sherry now is in, of having gone through divorce, finding herself in reduced circumstances. She ended up, I think the article said she was selling cosmetics for a department store because she couldn't find anything else to do. Absolutely hated it, but had to eat. A lot of self-doubt, struggling with depression. And she says, one evening, a stranger came up to me and said, "You have to step outside and see this gorgeous sunset." She says, "It will only take a minute, just outside with me." The lady writing the article says, "Well, I really didn't know what to do, but I went out with this woman. I stood, and there was this magnificent sunset. And I was seeing this beautiful sunset. And this stranger who'd come into my store said, 'God is in his heavens, and all is right with the world.'" She said, "At that moment, I woke up. I knew it was true. When I went back in that store, I made the commitment to turn my life around, and I did." That's what Sherry read when she was at the point where she'd forgotten all that is given to ourselves. But the giving is part of the joy, that sharing. Can you think how grateful you are to the people that have shared their discoveries of life with you? The ones that really meant, wow. I am in such gratitude to so many amazing beings who have done that for my life. And it becomes a way of being. It's a heart commitment. I share freely. Now, we're not talking about everything, and we aren't talking with everybody. But that which is of value with those whose hearts are open to that value, I share freely. And then the delightful part of that, even more delightful than the sharing, sometimes I receive joyously because it comes back again and again. And suddenly we aren't looking at the world from here. We're looking at the world from here. And then we give it away. And then we're looking at the world from here. I share freely, and I receive joyously. Join me. I share freely, and I receive joyously. Again, I share freely, and I receive joyously. Again, I share freely, and I receive joyously. What a way to live. That delightful awareness unfolds again and again we really are one. So the best way to receive is to give it, because you always know who you're really giving it to. And that receiving joyously is one delightful way to live. Bless you.
Thank you for your gift.
I ask everyone to take a connection card and seat pocket in front of you. I invite everyone to take a moment and fill out the card. And with the card, we can each request a prayer of support for something or someone in our lives. In addition, our heart ministers are available after the service for the wonderful experience of personal prayer support. They're the ones with lavender stoles. Prayer requests can also be sent anytime through the website. And our spiritual focus this week is I share freely and receive with joy. And the ushers will receive your card with the offering toward the end of the meeting. And it's time now for the prosperity celebration. For credit card donations, there are envelopes on the footboards in the back of each chair. Or for those of you at home, just click on the donate button on the Watch Live page. Unity's co-founder Charles Wilmore taught that our spiritual connection opens us to God's abundance expressing in our lives. He said, poverty or prosperity, it all depends on you. All that the Father has is yours, but you alone are responsible for the relationship with the Father's good to your life. Through conscious recognition of your oneness with the Father and His abundance, you draw the living substance into visible supply. Okay, now take your tithe or offering in your hand and be aware that God is the source of all you give. And repeat our affirmation with together. Divine love
Through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
so grateful.
Yeah. Oh, lead me to a rock that is too high. Guide me across that river that is too wide. And sit beside me on this plain tonight. Should I wander and can't find your love? Oh, lead me through despair and loneliness. Show me the way out of hopelessness. With your grace filled with tenderness and the faithful power of love. When I'm standing in the darkness and I can't see the gifts of your love in front of me. When my shoulders grow weary from that heavy load, I'll have your love like a hand to hold. So walk me to the edge. Oh, but should I fall, rolling down that mountain, oh no, through it all, the courage I give myself will call your love right to my side. When I'm standing in the darkness and I can't see the gifts of your love in front of me. When my shoulders grow weary from that heavy load, I'll
And here come our children.
We are marching in the light of God. 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 We are marching, marching, we are marching, marching, we are marching in the light of God. We are marching, marching, we are marching, marching, we are marching in the light of God.
All right, embrace these beautiful beings with your heart and let's share our blessing together. Children, you are loved, special, and important. The light of God shines through you. And let's hold hands and share together our prayer protection, remembering that our children have been making flower pots out there for us to, Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God ever present, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
You are the love and the light and the peace in the earth right now. So let it shine and have fun.
I let the love wash over me. 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 I let the love wash over me.